Hi, it's Dr. Karin. Did you know that we all have a divine purpose for our life, and the way to find that is to connect deeply with Source on a daily basis? Well, in this video, I'm going to help you figure out ways to align with Source so that you can live out the divine calling that your life has put you on this earth to fulfill. So one of the things that I think disconnects us the most from Source, from God, from the universe, from the universal creator, is part of what the church has taught us, or at least taught me. So I was raised Lutheran and then was in Church of God. And in that type of evangelical religion was a lot of guilt, a lot of shame, a lot of telling me that if I did anything wrong, that I was going to be punished and that I was going to be disconnected from God, spin out of the matrix basically, and that bad things were going to happen to me until I became holy again, asked for forgiveness, told the pastor what I did, and came back in. And it was this cycle of feeling disconnected because as a human, as a spiritual being, having a human experience, we're gonna mess up. When we're little, we're gonna lie to our mom, we're gonna steal candy from the store, we're gonna do all the things that little kids do. And so I lived, and you can probably relate to this, with this consistent cycle of feeling connected, because I did feel connected to God when I was young, because I was raised very, very church going. But then the second I would sin, I would feel disconnected. And so what I've learned since I've been in my spiritual awakening and I've transitioned to a new understanding of God, or I use the word Source more than anything now, because I do not think that it's an old man sitting on a throne up in heaven rubbing his beard and waiting to strike people down or let them into heaven. I believe that Source is as an energy field, and the energy field consists of pure unconditional love. And this energy field is there to welcome you anytime, actually not even anytime you want. You're always in the field of that energy, but that Source never disconnects from you. So you're never actually disconnected from Source. What you need to learn how to do is to tap into that part of you that is divinely connected at all times. So while the connection is consistent, we have to learn how to be intentional and how to ask for that support so that we can line up with receiving the messages. So one of the things that I like to do is just to simply ask for messaging, ask for guidance. And that guidance can come through as, messages that flow through your knowing, things, synchronicities that you see in nature, or something someone tells you, or a book title that you see. The universe is always communicating to you. Source is consistently, continuously, everything around you right now is there for a reason. Everything is trying to show you messages. If you ever wonder if something's a sign, the answer is yes, especially if it feels positive. By the way, the universe isn't delivering doomsday signs to you. That's not part of the connection. The universe is trying to direct you to your highest good. So signs are going to always feel like love. They're always going to feel like encouragement. They're always going to feel like this is the path that feels the best to me. They're always going to light you up. So one of the things that I do daily when I go on my walk in nature with the dogs, I have this trail by my house that I go and walk on, and I walk, and the first thing that I say when I step onto that trail is, Spirit, show me what I need to know today. Help me to feel what it is I'm meant to feel. Help me to know what it is I'm meant to know. Help me to see what it is I'm meant to see. And then I just keep myself wide open throughout the day on that walk. And I go through the day intentionally knowing and trusting that my Creator is going to be showing me with beautiful, divine, sacred timing that which is meant for me. And so I'm staying in this consistent connected. There's an awareness that I'm aware and that I know that signs are being given to me all the time. And particularly my spirit animal is the red-tailed hawk. So in Georgia, where I live, we have a lot of hawks that circle the city. They hunt. I love them. I connect to them. The hawk is always a reminder to me as my spirit animal, and you may have one or you may not. In fact, all animals are spirit animals. They're all there to tell you how wonderful you are and help you communicate with nature and to feel playful and inspired. But I know that when I see the hawk, because this is in my heart, this is my soul agreement, that is a message to me that I'm on the right path and that I'm being supported. And so that is something that I completely digest into my system and I take as a deeper connection with God in that moment. So the best practice every day to keep yourself connected to God, to Source energy, is to meditate. And I'm sure you've heard this a number of times, and I can't tell you the number of clients that have said to me, I just can't do it. Everybody else can. I can't quiet my mind. Meditation's kind of gone mainstream right now, and you'll hear a million ways to do it, and there are a million ways to do it. But let me just simplify this for you, because this is how I learned to connect, and it's so easy. Number one thing you need to know, no one can quiet their mind. Okay, Mahatma Gandhi maybe be able to quiet his mind. There are some people, Deepak Chopra, I bet, can do it in an instant. Yes, there are some ascended spiritual gurus that are just operating at a higher level to where they just aren't dealing with the same amount of static that you are, and they live in just a different zone of the world. You and I need to give ourselves grace about our mind not being quieted. And that's the number one step to meditation, is not having the goal of quieting your mind. The goal is to connect to something, trying to be as quiet as you can, and then having grace for whatever comes and goes. Over time, you will be able to connect to an openness in the spiritual field that feels more quiet. But as the thoughts come and go, don't judge them, don't get frustrated, don't get angry, just reconnect. So let me give you some tips and tools. So when I meditate, first of all, you take that deep breath to activate all your energy centers. You sit in a place that feels good to you. You sit in a sacred spot. I've prayed over the meditation spot in my room. I have a prayer cushion that I sit with. I have bowls and feathers and oracle cards and candles, and it just feels really good to me. It's a very sacred spot. I've prayed over it. We need to clear those spaces so that we can find the peace the minute we get to them. As soon as I sit down, I actually do stretching first because my body actually needs to move the energy. That's my own practice. And then I just ask, Spirit, fill me. And I take a deep breath and I focus on the movement of my breath as if it's the ocean. Now, Joe Dispenza teaches this beautiful technique to focus on basically nothingness in space. If you literally, as you're taking deep breaths, and envision your breath flowing like the ocean flows, ebbs and flows. It's a very simple activation for you to just come into an awareness if you're just learning how to meditate. Picture the ocean coming and going. And if you're paying attention to that breath, guess what? Your monkey mind can't think of anything else, so it stays focused on the breath. That's why you always hear gurus say, return to your breath, because your awareness is on that focal point. Then you can move into where you're focusing just on space, the nothingness of space. You can picture yourself floating in space, being in space, and as you get more advanced, you'll actually do something called astral traveling into space. Your spirit will actually migrate into that space of knowingness while your body's still sitting in meditation. It's pretty damn cool. Nonetheless, meditate, focus on your breath, focus on space, and then just ask the white light of God to fill you with a bubble of white light. Ask that you be held in love and light. Feel yourself grounded into the earth. Ask that Mother Earth grounds you and that you be held in a place of prosperity, and that you attract abundance, and that you feel the love throughout the day. Because what happens when you do that in the morning is you are dosing yourself, your spirit body, with love. God's love is always available to you, but you need to get a higher dose of it, you got to open to it, right? Because we've closed off our energy centers because we've been taught to do that. What we're not taught as kids is how to stay eternally open to eternal love. And that's what you're coming back to. That's why you're here. So by doing that and accessing, there are all kinds of things you can do with chakras, but let's just keep it simple today. Just literally picture your aura opening, the white light of God coming and surrounding you with a bubble of white light, and just ask that you be shown love today. And in the end, you can just sit for just a few minutes and just feel love. Return to your heart center, and in the end, just thank your angels and your guides and God for being with you. And then the next day you can progress to something different, and the next day and the next day. But that's how you start the meditation practice, so that you can learn more techniques as time goes by. But I promise you, it is not meant to be hard. It is meant to be super simple, and is meant to kickstart your day so that you maintain that connection to Source throughout your day. I've got 3 final tips for you that are really gonna super accelerate your connection with Christ and with Source and with God. But before I give you those 3 final tips, if you like this material, click the like button and subscribe to my channel, because I'm gonna be giving you videos every week that are going to be dropping information like this that's going to change your life. One of the final ways to really boost your connection to Source on a continual basis is to find a high vibe tribe. Find a group, whether that's in a group coaching program or whether that's through boosting your friendship circles, through going on different sites that you can maybe connect with people that have the same belief system that you do, and finding the friends around you that align with your new level of spiritual awakening and soul awareness, so that you can then expand with them and explore with them this connection to God. You can share ways, maybe somebody saw a magnificent sunset and you guys can snap that and send it to each other, or maybe somebody had like this crazy experience at this concert where they felt like they were floating above the crowd and they want to share that too. These kinds of circles are really important for you, because when you're sharing these experiences, even in the Bible it says where 2 or more are gathered in your name, like it's done that way in heaven. And I didn't quote that perfectly right, but you know what I mean. The expansion with groups and with multiple people at once further expands that connective energy and that vibrational countenance of divine sacred energy around you. It serves your life experience to take you to a higher level when you're doing it in a collective situation. The next way to really stay connected to God, to Source, is something that you want to do for yourself, and that is having a continual practice of self-acceptance and self-love. And that is stopping that script in your mind that condemns you for things that are going on in your life. Remember, everything at all times is perfect. there actually is no right or wrong. I know that goes against everything you were taught, but everything at all times, everything is here to help us grow. Everything that you're doing, whether later you feel a feeling of regret or not, it was there in perfect timing for whatever that meant for that environment that you were in. It all serves a purpose. So practice completely letting go any self-judgment. Practice saying to yourself, it's all perfect. It's all in perfect timing. I am perfect. I am divine. And just let go any feelings of guilt or shame over things that you do. Because when you can find that resonance of self-love, you're actually operating higher to the creator, higher to source energy, and that's a really high vibrational place to live. The final way for you to stay connected to source is to resonate with gratitude. And I'm gonna even give you a deeper word, and that is appreciation. If you can find gratitude and appreciation for everything that's happening for you on a daily basis, we're programmed to find disgust, to find judgment, and do all those things that we're taught to do. But if you can instead find your way back up the ladder to appreciation and gratitude, because remember, we have this vibrational scale of consciousness. At the top of the scale of consciousness, the highest level of vibrational energy you can feel is that of joy, peace, and love. And the thing that feels the most like love is gratitude and appreciation, when you're in full appreciation. So if you have moments when maybe you're with your partner or with your dog, or when you're just by yourself in nature and you have a moment where you're like, life is so good, milk that moment and remember it and bring it up as many times in your consciousness as you can, because each time you do that, you connect yourself to source energy immediately, because you go and you set your vibration up to a higher level of consciousness, and that is where God resides, and that's where you're meant to reside. If all the tips I just mentioned to you in this video really resonate with you, and you want to get into more of a practice of connecting deeply with God so you can live a life that has more ease and joy and abundance, I have a free masterclass with you by clicking the link below and joining me. The name of the masterclass is 3 Keys to Activating Your Rebel Soul. There is so much information inside. I can't wait to see you there.